I was being attacked from every angle imaginable. I mean, it was really amazing. And I had to be tough, and I had to be sharp, and I had to be nasty in some cases because they were nasty. I went to the best school. I was a good student. I'm a very smart person. Right. I can be the most politically correct person that you have ever interviewed. I can be very presidential.
In recent times, there has been a bit of concern about where public discourse is going.
For the President of the United States, the greatest country of the world, the person who is representing our country, to use that kind of language is just so inappropriate, and it simply has to stop.
This is the President of the United States. You don't do things like that.
Obviously, I don't see that as an appropriate comment. I think, look, what we're trying to do around here is improve the tone and the civility of the debate, and this obviously doesn't help do that.
This president is the President of the United States, and the way he's conducting himself isn't presidential. There's nothing about this that shows respect to the office of the presidency or his voters, even the people who didn't vote for him. I look at my own tweets, my own mentions that I get from people, and the level of dialogue is getting more and more harsh, the rhetoric's getting more and more violent, and more race-based.
What seems to bother most commentators is a so-called lowering of the bar that has led to a tone that is, to be kind, more vulgar than is expected. Where once we had this type of tone in public discourse,
more than 90% of the jobs created by this plan will be in the private sector. They're not going to be make-work jobs, but jobs doing the work that America desperately needs done. Jobs rebuilding our crumbling roads and bridges, repairing our dangerously deficient dams and levees so that we don't face another Katrina. There'll be jobs building the wind turbines and solar panels and fuel-efficient cars that will lower our dependence on foreign oil, and modernizing our costly healthcare system that will save us billions of dollars and countless lives. There'll be jobs creating the 21st century classrooms, libraries, and labs for millions of children across America. And there'll be the jobs of firefighters and teachers and police officers that would otherwise be eliminated if we do not provide states with some relief.
But there are certainly some troubling signs. There's serious signs that that the economy is weakening, and we got to do something about it. Today we got such a sign when, after 52 consecutive months of job creation, we lost 17,000 jobs. The unemployment rate went down, but nevertheless, a serious matter is that for the first time in 52 months that we didn't create jobs.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to hear a little more about the forgotten heroes of America? Those who create most of our new jobs, like the owners of stores down the street, the faithfuls who support our churches, synagogues, schools, and communities, the brave men and women everywhere who produce our goods, feed a hungry world, and keep our families warm while they invest in the future to build a better America. That's where miracles are made, not in Washington, D.C.
The tone has moved towards this.
I'm going to turn it all around. We're living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. I've been saying it for months. It used to be the cars were made in Flint, right? And you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Today, the cars are made in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint, Michigan. You know that, right? What a difference. But we're turning that around. We're going to fight for every last American job. It's time to remove the rust from the Rust Belt and usher in a new industrial revolution. We're going to do it.
Where did this change of tone begin? Going slightly back in time, we have this clue.
Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities. Rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation. An education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. this American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Which is obviously different from this.
The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
But did it begin there? No, we need only turn the clock back a little further to find this.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed effort to convert retreat into advance. Values have shrunk to fantastic levels, taxes have risen, our ability to pay has fallen, government of all kinds is faced by serious curtailment of income, the means of exchange are frozen in the currents of trade, the withered leaves of industrial enterprise lie on every side, farmers find no markets for their produce, and the savings of many years in thousands of families are gone. More important, a host of unemployed citizens face the grim problem of existence, and an equally great number toil with little return. Only a foolish optimist can deny the dark realities of the moment.
As compared to this.
That we are in the midst of crisis is now well understood. Our nation is at war against a far-reaching network of violence and hatred. Our economy is badly weakened, a consequence of greed and irresponsibility on the part of some, but also our collective failure to make hard choices and prepare the nation for a new age. Homes have been lost, jobs shed, businesses shuttered. Our health care is too costly, our schools fail too many, and each day brings further evidence that the ways we use energy strengthen our adversaries and threaten our planet. These are the indicators of crisis, subject to data and statistics. Less measurable, but no less profound, is a sapping of confidence across our land. A nagging fear that America's decline is inevitable, that the next generation must lower its sights.
What was once expected discourse from a president when speaking about, for example, the religious beliefs of those who commit acts of terrorism?
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. It's practiced freely by many millions of Americans and by millions more in countries that America counts as friends. Its teachings are good and peaceful, and those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah. The enemy of America is not our many Muslim friends. It is not our many Arab friends.
President 45 offers us an alternative.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. Among others, there is a great hatred toward Americans by large segments of the Muslim population. 25% of those polled agreed that violence against Americans here in the United States is justified. They want to change your religion. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not going to happen. It's terrible. Sharia authorizes such atrocities as murder against non-believers who won't convert, beheadings and more unthinkable acts that pose great harm to Americans, especially women. I mean, you look, especially women. Tough stuff. It's obvious to anybody the hatred is beyond comprehension of such a big portion. Where the hatred comes from and why, we will have to determine. We're going to have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. We can't live like this. It's going to get worse and worse. You're going to have more World Trade Centers. It's going to get worse and worse, folks. We can be politically correct and we can be stupid, but it's going to get worse and worse. They don't want our system. They don't want our system. And have no sense of reason or respect for human life. They have no respect for human life.
It is obvious that Mr. Trump has branded a particular type of discourse, a personal tone, one he has proclaimed modern-day presidential. One could argue that this tone is his to use. He is the president. No one ranks above him. The danger, though, is that the president, willingly or not, is a role model for nearly everybody.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
The press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
You're not going to raise that fucking price. You understand?
Listen, you motherfuckers, we're going to tax you 25%.
Has he kept any of these promises? No. Fuck no. Fundamentally, if we are not helping people, we should go the fuck home.
Having set this tone himself, Mr. Trump, as a seemingly unaware role model, has unleashed the same tone in those who will publicly speak about him.
And I may have said that's disgusting. I may have said something else. I thought it was terrible. She's a horrible person, knows nothing about me. I see her, she's now the great expert on Donald Trump. I beat her so badly. She's a vicious, horrible person.
To look at like any company, any big success. Let's say someone came into NBC and took over NBC and started tweeting wildly about people's appearances, bullying people, talking about people in the competition, lying every day, undermining his managers, throwing them out. The person would be thrown out. It's not normal behavior. In fact, there would be concern that perhaps the person who runs the company is out of his mind.
We all heard our mothers chant this one to us when we came home crying from a bullying incident at school.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Mr. Trump obviously did not get that one from his mom.
I was being attacked from every angle imaginable. I mean, it was really amazing. And I had to be tough, and I had to be sharp, and I had to be nasty in some cases because they were nasty.
The point being, whether he likes it or not, Mr. Trump's Speak His Mind model of discourse has set a tone for the general public discourse. His supporters are glad for this change, for this doing away with the politically correct, even when they have little idea just what politically correct means.
So, I mean, I don't believe he did anything wrong. Maybe his tone was a little... The way he came out and said it was rude. But, you know, I forgive him for that. It doesn't. He apologized.
Has he taken out a patent or registered a trademark? Does he really believe that, having set this tone himself, he is somehow immune to it? We, of course, should not simply adapt his tone as ours, as it has not been anything but populist in his case.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
It has been embarrassing, even unprofessional for others.
If he took a dump on his desk, you would defend it.
Say it. Though the idea of the president as a role model for public behavior is deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness, sometimes we need to step back and ask if that model is valid for our own behavior. In the case of Mr. Trump, though many, who possibly already behave that way in private, find it valid, many more need to be careful not to allow the power of the presidential role model to change their tone.